Hello and welcome to this edition of Consciousness Raising Online. I'm going to do it a little bit different today. I'm not going to be long, but I do want to get across some points that I think are very important for us to all recognize and deal with over the next period. I don't know how long that's going to be. First of all, let me mention that yes, my hair is kind of long because I'm basically not going to cut my hair until that guy is gone. Okay, let me just put it like that. Or at least until the election results are in and we know that he's lost. So, of course, that means you got to get out there and vote if you haven't voted already. Now, a couple of things. One is there are a lot of people who are, and this is especially for Black people, my people, but also it can be others who are conscious and going through some of the same changes. Many of us are being told that we're virus fatigued or COVID-19 fatigued. And that may be true, but it's not the only thing that fatigues us. You see, we are also fatigued by racism, overt racism fatigued, in that we have been, for the last going on 4 years, been forced to deal with a particularly ugly phase of overt racism led by 45. And so we are fatigued, particularly because we have watched it, this level of overt racism be normalized. I talked about this early on after his election. That was this. See, most of us do not recognize him as being a legitimate president. Okay? We see what he's been doing as part of a program that is illegitimate. Now, historically, that may be borne out. But what we've had to deal with the last 4 years is the fact that the American society, the United States society, has been normalizing this guy, which means what? It means that when you have something that's illegitimate and you force it on people through every means, every medium, every institution, until it becomes normal, even though it's not normal. He is not normal. We recognize that. Okay? He is not the representative of all the people, right? He says it, and we have been saying it from the beginning. But when the media treats it, him and all his cronies, as if they are legitimate, day after day after day, lie after lie after lie, it becomes normalized, meaning that people take it as being, it must be true. It must be all right. And we, especially Black people, have been saying and dealing with it face on, protesting in all kinds of ways, resisting in all kinds of ways for this entire 4 years. And yes, we're tired. We're tired of being shot in the streets, men and women and children. We're tired of being beaten. We're tired of being told that what we see and feel and hear is not real. That's what it comes down to. We're tired. Our patience is short. So what I want to say to all these folks that feel like this is we got a little bit longer to go. We have to keep holding each other up, keep supporting each other, verbally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, because we have to. Now, on top of that, we also have this pandemic And you see, it's important for us to understand that this is an additional weight to carry. We have, for the most part, especially older adult Black folks and others, we have abided by the basics, which is wearing the masks, social distancing. And of course, we always washed our hands anyway. But especially the wearing of the masks, which has been made into a political deal. It's really a health issue, but they made it, Trump and them have made it a political issue. I'll give you a good example. Just like when the athletes took the knee, they took the knee as a protest about the murders and mistreatment of Black people in this country. They did it at ceremonies where the national anthem was being played. Trump and them took it and made it be some kind of thing against the flag, and therefore against the flag, then it was unpatriotic and against the United States. That completely changed what it was about. Now, it didn't change it for us. What it did is it gave the racists a way to be able to attack our rightful protest. Now, the same thing has happened about the masks. The masks are a health issue. You wear the mask not just to protect ourselves, and not really to protect ourselves, but to protect others. So how do you make that a political issue? Through insanity. But that's what's happened. And now we're going through a second surge, which was predicted because it was understood that there's too many people in this country, mostly white, who refused to deal with the health issue. They went with the political issue and made it a symbol of their freedom. Well, if that's not a perfect example of white privilege racism, I'm not going to have to deal with the health issue because I'm white and I'm dealing with my freedom. And that goes for the Negroes who went running behind them with that. So that's the second issue that we've had to deal with. Okay? Now, the third area, or the third issue, which is actually compounded by the virus and by the overt racism of the last 4 years, is the effect that it's had on our communities in terms of economics. It has not only hurt us in terms of our jobs and our employment, et cetera, and our businesses, because our Black-owned businesses did not get a lot of support from white people. In fact, they got very little support from white people. And so when you hurt the pocketbooks of Black people, that automatically starts hurting Black-owned businesses. And so we were already being hurt anyway. But this virus and the economic consequences of it has hurt us even more. And at the same time, you got this fool running around talking about, ain't nobody did more for the African American community than me. Okay, I'll just leave it there for now. So we've had to deal with more issues than just the idea of the virus. Okay. And so what I want to say to you is understand that what we're dealing with is multi-issues. And we have to help each other, especially psychologically, recognizing that we don't know what our brothers and sisters are maybe going through. We've had, there's a rise in our anger, and it's understandable. A lot of us are angry not just because of the conditions, but because we've had to deal with them. We've had to deal with things that we thought had been sorted out and dealt with in the past. They've come roaring back. These races have come back like 40 going north, out from under the rocks and out of the caves where they've been hiding. And so a lot of us are angry. Young people, young Black people in particular, are very angry. And then some of them not even conscious of what they're angry at. They're just angry. They're angry because it seems like the world is kicking them in the teeth and not giving them a future. Some of them hold us responsible. The older generation said we were supposed to make their future be possible. And we did. This whole thing of some folks saying, well, y'all didn't do nothing. Last 50 years, y'all ain't did nothing. That's some propaganda that's being fed to you. Okay? We never said the battle was over. So, what do? We have to deal with reality, understand what we're dealing with, and find the ways to uplift each other. But most importantly, we have to find the ways to help ourselves deal with this craziness. It means take proper care of yourself physically, take care of yourself emotionally, take care of yourself spiritually. If you use music to soothe yourself, don't be shy about taking the time just to listen to some music and sort things out. If you do something else, exercise in particular, or whatever it is, if it's meditation, if it's praying, if that's what you do. But I say this about the praying part. Don't just pray and say, okay, I'm gonna leave it in your hands. No, you got to do some things yourself. What does that Bible say? It says God helps those who help themselves. You got to help yourself. Okay? And then we can reach out and help our fellow men, women, and children. So that's essentially what I wanted to say today. And let this carry you through, because this too shall pass. But it's not the time to get lazy about it, not the time to give up. It's the time to knuckle down and understand, yes, we're getting ready. We're actually going through this beginning stages of what they call a second surge, or some are saying a third surge. Whatever it is, this virus is roaring back because too many people, mostly white, refused to do what they needed to do. We're gonna have to wear the masks. We're gonna have to socially distance ourselves, even sometimes even with our family members. And if you don't think that's true, talk to the healthcare people. They have to stay sheltered away from their own families to take care of us when we go into hospitals. And we're gonna see more deaths. Let's not let it be you. I want you to still be here the next time that I talk to you like this. And I want you to be able to hold your loved ones again. We can do this. All right? I'm going to close now with what I always say. No justice, no peace, no love, KNOW.